Welcome back to my channel. My name is Belle and this is the Belle Perspective, and today we're going to be reviewing Ready to Love Miami Part 2. But before I get into that, I'm going to ask that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and get down in the comments and let me know what you think about my review and the show. Alright? Before we get started, I want to just point out this cute, because it just says a woman's place is in, and you're gonna probably see me as I move back and forth the house, but the whole shirt says a woman's place is in the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office. I think that's really cute. Anyway, so because it's the truth. Okay, we belong everywhere as women. Black women and other women too, as long as y'all act right. Okay, so let's get started with the review. So the show picks up from where we left off with Sharice, because I couldn't remember their name, Sharice and Katie, and going back and forth, and they're arguing, bitch, you man, I don't know what bitch you bitch, I'll slap you, don't make me so slap me then. Like, you know how they was doing. They was doing a lot, okay? So Looney, who, by the way, I forgot to mention that Looney actually looked really, 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 really pretty in the reunion as well. She's such a gorgeous girl to me. I love her eyes. I love the way she's just such a pretty girl. So Looney basically says, listen, y'all need to cut it out. Sharice, come sit over here by me. Let's break them up like kindergartners, okay? So they end up breaking them up. Sharice goes sits over on the other side with Looney. They basically calm down. Kayla burst out into tears. Why? Oh my God. Oh, I don't understand. We're black women. Why are we always fighting black women? Black women, why are we always fighting? I just can't do this. Okay. I just cannot. Okay. And so Jamala goes and starts rolling her eyes, basically, and she's like, oh. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know if Kayla was being genuine or not, because later on we see her arguing with Jamala. Okay, so I really don't know the genuineness of Kayla's claims or whatever, but we're just gonna keep on going. She also gives me a very disingenuous vibe anyway, so she doesn't know the women enough to even care about how they're conducting themselves, so I don't understand why it drove her to tears. Like, that just, I think it was just for show. Anyway, so they open up and start talking about justice. Okay. Even my boyfriend was like, how did he get on this show? You're absolutely right. How did Justice get on this show? The dude who talked in circles. When I tell you that his justification was literal Cirque du Soleil circles, acrobatics, made no sense. The sentence, like, words were coming out of his mouth, but none of them correlated. Like, I understood it to be English, but I didn't understand if those words meant to be together. Like, I understand his English words coming out of your mouth, but I don't understand the correlation between the words, right? There's a difference between speaking just English words and then actually making correlation sentences that are correlated together to actually convey a real point, right? Okay, he was just saying words like cat, dog, bird, tree, laptop, phone, bush, camera, bag, book, dog. Yes, that's my response. What? Bitch, what? Like, no correlation, not unrelated to anything. I'm literally like, what are you saying? Okay, so he's going around basically saying the energy, and the cat in the hat and the dog on the street, and I need a woman to position herself in position, okay, to have me position her so that we can position ourselves in position for me to be able to, lock it down, right? Looney ends up just getting up and walking off the stage. I mean, shit didn't make sense. She got emotional for what reason, I don't know why, and I feel like they slept together, but we're just gonna speculate. So Looney leaves the stage. He ends up going to follow her. I don't know how she ends up being in the parking lot. He ends up going down there and says, oh, you done blocked me on all social media, which as she should have. as she should have. And doesn't answer his phone calls as she should. For some reason, she ends up hugging him. They talk it out, whatever, and then she's like hanging off of him the rest of the episode. I'm just like, I don't even know how you got here, Looney. You should have left. But I can't want more for her than she wants for herself. Okay, I can't want more for Looney than what she wants for herself. Okay, and so I'm tired. I'm not about to get worked up over no bullshit like that. Okay, so we move on to Samson. Samson, I really had high hopes for Samson in the beginning of this show, beginning of this season, this franchise, because he seemed like he was emotionally evolved. He seemed like he was a kind of a genuine guy. But I'm starting to see Samson for his works, okay? They call him what? Santa Samson, I think is what they call it. I don't know. But I'm going to just tell you that I don't think that Samson was there for a genuine connection. I partly feel like he was on the show and didn't really know if he could trust the other women to allow himself to be open. But then that also says that if they're on the same show that you're on, right? And if you're not able to be open and honest and vulnerable about how you feel, then other women aren't going to be able to be open and vulnerable with you either. That's just how it works. It's reciprocity, okay? So the whole gift giving thing, they talk about how no woman was able to really tell who he really truly liked and cared about because he was gift giving everyone. Granted, the gifts were unique to each woman, but it was still very much like, okay, sir, how can we tell who you really and truly are trying to feel a mesh with when you're constantly giving gifts to everyone, right? None of the women felt special. So again, the consensus was you're not opening up, you're not being vulnerable, you're not showing who you really are. I feel like Samson wasn't doing that because he didn't necessarily he doesn't trust the show, and he felt like, listen, I'm not trying to give myself for real because this is just a show. And I'm sure that other women are feeling that same way. This is just a show. I'm just trying to get brand exposure. I'm just trying to get out there. So he's not trying to open up in that way. Because he doesn't know because he's looking at it how, he's looking at it, right? He's looking at it from a particular angle, and he's expecting the women to meet him in that same way. This is just a show. I'm out here for brand exposure, da 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 da. Yeah, I don't want to get burned, so I'm not gonna be vulnerable, which I feel like the premise of the show is actually dying. I feel like that first season of Ready to Love was really, really good, but I think after that it just kind of died out because then everybody was really trying to just market themselves and promote a brand, and there was really no genuine there really wasn't a genuine essence to the show. It died out anyway. So Sharice was basically saying, you didn't claim me. You didn't proclaim that I was the woman that you were interested in. And so you left a lot of room for guessing, and I didn't appreciate that. Samson then tries to turn in on her and basically says, I heard so many negative things about you, but I didn't listen to those things. Da, da, da. It was just back and forth, right? It was just back and forth. Samson comes out and says that he has a girlfriend, which I find very interesting. Okay, I feel like a lot of these men on the show already had girlfriends, already had women, but they just were, again, trying to get their exposure, trying to have a moment, okay? Then they start talking about Katie and Swayze. Now, I like Swayze. I really like him. I don't know, something about him. I like him a lot. However, I do know that Katie and Swayze's relationship is pretty much radioactive. Okay, it's very much radioactive, very much volatile, very much, I don't know how long that's going to last because it is very radioactive. And I know they probably having bomb sex, but I don't think that it's going to be sustainable for a real, true relationship. I'm just being honest with you and being honest with myself. Why I like Swayze, not so much Katie, because she just problematic, and I feel like she's a mean girl times 10. Not as mean as Sharice, and I feel like that was the battle. It's kind of like, bitch, I'm mean, but I'm not as mean as you, ho. Like, that's how I feel like that's how Sharice was looking. And I feel like Katie was on the other, just real mean, gritty, real just mean, like a viper, right? Like a just old gutter snot, just real mean. Like, she really will go there and be very nasty with you. And I feel like Swayze is that poor little lamb. Not poor little lamb. I just don't feel like Swayze can handle the venom that Katie can spew. Actually, I feel like they both have anger issues, but I just feel like Katie is mean and venomous on a whole nother level. Okay, so April and other dude that gets voted off in the first episode. I don't remember first episode. I don't remember his name, but they kind of click in. They grew up in Boynton Beach, which is beach in Florida, South Florida, like near like Fort Lauderdale in that area. So it's like Southwest Florida. So they talking and clicking and everything. Come to find out they done exchange numbers. So hopefully something happens with them. I feel like they're more each other's speed because April is more mature and Buddy that got voted off. I feel like he was a silver fox a little bit. I wouldn't call him silver fox, but I mean I could see people classify him as a silver fox, and so they may work. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. Randall, Jamala, and Kayla. Randall is a weak man. It's some weak dudes on this season. It's very weak. So instead of fighting each other, the women should have turned around and started pointing the fingers at Randall, but none of them did that. Okay, so while Caleb was in there crying and why does black women have to fight each other? Oh my God, she decided to point her fingers at Jamala. Ma'am, the real issue here is Randall. Randall was not being a man. He is not standing in his truth and making decisions like he should and owning the decision that he made, because ultimately he chose Jamala at the end of the day. But here we are, and he's saying that he's trying to seek out all his options. Why did you have that whole speech on the bridge with Jamala if you were still looking for your options? I don't understand. I feel like Randall used to be a real ugly kid, and he's still not cute to me, but whatever. He used to be the ugly duckling, and now that he has access to women, he has an opportunity to date multiple women at one time. He's enjoying it, and he doesn't want to give it up. I feel like that's what Randall's got going on. I feel like Randall's been like that, even outside of the show. So, Randall's attracted to these three very strong women, but he's not strong himself. And so it's kind of getting out of hand because he doesn't know how to handle it because he's not as strong as the three women that he's interested in. And I think that's part of the reason why he's so attracted to them, because they're so very much strong. Okay. So it sounds like Jamal, I think the confusion at the getaway, which again, Jamala was completely being insecure. She was just doing a lot. She was being very territorial. It was just too much. Too much that she shouldn't have been giving Randall. I'm like, girl, do not give him this much energy, girl. Yuck. Anyway, so apparently Randall told Jamala that he was going to settle everything and let Kayla know that Jamala was going to be the woman he was going to choose and go forward with. He did not do that. He was still entertaining them all the way up until the end of the retreat. And I'm just like, what is happening here? And you can see it blowing up in his face, right? So Jamala I think that's what sets Jamala off, because she's like, listen, I came here and I thought that he was going to be able to be honest with everybody and tell them, that I'm the one he wanted to be with. Ultimately, it was after the retreat, and after she meets his brother, that he then decides, no, I'm not gonna cut ties with, I'm not gonna move forward with Kayla. Which again, I'm like, sir, you had already made your decision of what you wanted to do. You should have been did that. But whatever. So I'm gonna just say I feel like Randall's sleeping with these women as well. I have a feeling that Randall's slept with Trinika and sleeping with Kayla and Jamala. I have a feeling that that's what's happening, because they're arguing the way that they're arguing back and forth towards each other and not about Randall. I feel like a woman who had not slept with a guy would have been able to identify an intelligent woman. Let me say that. A woman who was intelligent, okay, and able to properly deduce who the real issue is, would have put two and two together and be like, this is nothing to do with these women. It's Randall. Let me jump on him because he's the problem. But I think that they let D get in the way. Dick got in the way, and so I feel like that's the reason why they're turning towards each other and in fighting. Okay. So, and again, not Kayla telling people, oh my God, black women, don't be fighting, turning around and attacking Jamala, who really said nothing to her. Like, unless they edited something out and I didn't see it, Jamala really didn't say anything. And then here comes Tranika going around, girl, he don't even claim you outside of this. And before I saw that, I thought, well, damn, Jamala must have popped off at the mouth. But Jamala really hadn't said anything to Tranika either. And I feel like Tranika is a fake person. She got a little fake problem, being fake problem. And I feel like she presents this, oh my God, what people say feminine energy is, or what they're trying to push and peddle as feminine energy. It's men telling women how to be feminine, which is so funny. I don't, you have no femininity, so I don't understand. Well, there's parts of femininity, but you're not the leader in how women should present themselves, but you're deciding to be the lead in the conversation, which I have no idea, but whatever. So I feel like Tranika feeds the men what they think they want, right? She's very flirty, she's very sexual, she's very, you know, I don't say passive, but she's very, approachable and easygoing with men. But then with women, she's not that. So it's just very fake to me because the personality is the same personality through and through. And so I just felt like, there you go, Tranika. I'm seeing your real person, your real self, because I never thought she was real in the first place. And I do remember saying that in other reviews. So, again, Tommy asked, listen, what's the resolve? Are y'all together? What y'all doing? Randall says we're trying to figure it out. Oh no, Jamala says we're trying to figure out. Tommy says, are y'all dating other people? He says, yeah, we're dating other people. I'm still trying to explore my options. Now, why the hell did you sit on the goddamn bridge and tell Jamala that you the person that she want? I just this show is really losing its luster. Anyway, I just keep watching it because I need to have content for my YouTube, but I would not be watching this show. I would not be watching it. Anyway, and come to find out, Randall is still fooling with Kayla. Now, Kayla, I, for the life of me, do not understand. That's why I feel like they sleeping together. They slept together. Kayla is above. Kayla is a debutante, okay? She comes from money. She's educated. She has so many wonderful qualities about herself, but because she's a pick-me and she's been so ingrained and ingratiated into pick-me culture that it's forcing her to lower the standards that she barely had already, okay? And when I say she barely has standards, I'm not saying that she just is just out here. I'm saying pick me culture requires you to lower your standards. And so let me say this, being a black woman, you're already kind of like up against, should I lower my standards so that I can date? Right? Because a lot of the guys that are presented to you are nowhere near where you are, right? So it's kind of like, damn, I don't want to be alone, but what should I do? So should I lower my standards a little bit? And then you add pick me culture to already the harsh realities of dating. It lowers the standards even more because there's no reason why Kayla should be subjecting herself to Randall or Mike or any other of these. I could see her voting her. If she didn't have all this pressed against her, I felt like she was going to be the one to vote herself off and be like, I don't need this. Kayla, girl, check yourself, girl. Check yourself, girl. You're way too good for this. I don't understand. I really don't. Okay. I don't personally like Kayla. I don't too much care for her personality, but I do want more. I want more for her, but I can't want more. I can't want more for her than she wants for herself. Okay? All right. So Mike and Brandy. Mike, baby, when I tell you I don't like Mike, I don't think Mike worth a good goddamn. I'll just be honest with you. I feel like he is no prize. And quiet as this kept, Brandy, if you were smart, you would throw him right back to where you found him, girl. Leave him on the street, girl. He like it out there, girl. But you know what? That's none of my business. I'm not trying to. That's, again, I can't want more for her. Okay, than she want for herself. All right. So Brandy, again, she can't see past the fact that Mike is her type, right? He's dark skinned, which I'm like, he is not attractive. He is not attractive. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about his looks, but he is not attractive. okay? And he's older, and girl, got all this going on, girl, yikes. Anyway, so, Mike chose Brandy because she did not have, there was no competition, okay? Nobody else was trying to put their hat in for Brandy. It wasn't going anywhere else with anyone else, and so Brandy was surefire, okay? And he didn't want to have to deal with anything else, and he's okay with that. He's okay with settling for low-hanging fruit, which says a lot about him. And the fact that Brandy is not even aware of it, or she is aware of it, but she's choosing to ignore it because she'd rather have, she's never had been in a relationship before, so now she's in this point of desperation. So she's operating from this point of desperation because there's no other options, and she's never had a real relationship before, so there's no standard, there's no rubric to judge Mike off of. Like, Mike hit the jackpot with Brandy. There's no rubric, right? There's no standard that she has there. She's not requiring anything. She literally will jump through hoops to be with him because he's her type, and she feels like she doesn't really see. It's just a whole lot of badness going on. She down bad, and she is down bad. So then, Tommy asks, okay, so where do y'all see this relationship going? Brandy goes off and says, yes, I see us, I want to be a wife. I want to be a mother. Mike give her this look like, and he fixed his face real quick. I said, I seen that, Mike. Mike is not trying to be he ain't trying to be nobody's dad, and he ain't trying to be nobody's husband. He's saying all this, and he just looked at her like, fix his face. Y'all watch it in slow motion. I saw it. I was like, I see that face, Mike. You was not trying. He was like, oh, for real. He was looking like, oh, for real. It's not going to last. And all the women in the background are like, yeah, we rooting for you, Mike. Because Mike was saying, I wanted to show Brandy, how a real man should treat you, and da-da-da-da-da, just puffing himself up. I was like, Mike, you ain't it. You are not it, but whatever. And all the women, go ahead, Mikey, yeah. And I'm just like, y'all not reading the room, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. And then they end up showing like bloopers and stuff from the end of the show, but whatever. So that's the end of this review. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Mike and Brandy are gonna stay together? Do y'all believe that Mike actually has a girlfriend, or that's fooling somebody who makes strawberries? Because I do remember Dominica saying that in the last episode, and I do remember Mike bringing Brandy strawberries on the beach when he said that he wanted to choose her, right? Let me know what you think about Jamala, Kayla, and Randall. Do you feel like Kayla was wrong? Do you feel like Jamala was wrong? What do you think about Randall? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. Again, my name is Belle. This has been the Belle Perspective, and I am hoping that you, since you come all the way this far, you watch this video all the way to the end, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Okay? And I will see you all in the next one. All right? Take care.